This is KCCP, Kansas City's only community programming television station. The following program, produced through the facilities of American Cablevision's KCCP, is the product of an independent producer and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of American Cablevision, its staff, or management.
Once again, I'm Erwin K Roberts, and as you can see, welcome to Entertainment Spectrum. Now, we've got something a little bit different tonight, folks. No movies, at least not that I know of. No karate experts, no Elvis Presleys. We got some people here that want to talk computers. And don't touch that dial. You'd be surprised what you can find out with a computer and a telephone these days. Matter of fact, I did when I turned my son loose with a modem a few months ago. It got so bad we had to install a second phone line. I had the police trying to reach me for 2 weeks, and they said, all we get are busy signals. I got a teenager, a telephone, and a modem, and I was in big trouble. Well, two of the people that my son, who's operating one of the cameras tonight, met are with us in the studio tonight. So welcome to Patrick Dickey on my immediate left, and Jack Baker, both of whom operate what are commonly known as BBS, or bulletin board systems, via phone modem, which, to those of you who don't know, a modem is the piece of hardware that allows your computer to talk to somebody else's computer via Southwestern Bell, and even further sometimes. So, Patrick, you have the which bulletin board?
The Think Tank.
Think Tank, okay. And explain a little bit about what the Think Tank is.
Well, it's pretty much a forum for users, computer users, old and new, to really get the feel of their computer and to be able to communicate one-on-one in any certain day, any time. Say somebody's up at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can call my BBS, leave me a message. The next day I get back to them, leave them hopefully a good answer, and we just keep it going like that, helping the new users out.
Okay. And that is how we booked you on this show, was typing a message for you rather than speaking in person at first.
Yeah, a lot of sysops don't answer.
You said sysops. Explain that one for us.
Okay, that's short for system operator. And it's a person that's outlaid quite a bit of cash for a computer system. And just out of, personally, I just hated to see the waste of all this computer equipment sitting around most of the time doing nothing. Now it's hooked up running 24 hours a day, which is really how computers like to run. They don't like being turned off and on. They run better 24 hours a day with a fan on them.
Mm-hmm. And preferably no cats walking across them.
Yeah.
And Jack, you have an outfit called the Grapevine. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have a board. My wife and I set this up, and it's mainly a place where everybody with computers and modems just call. They connect here, log on, and that's just where they accept each other, where the computers contact each other and leave messages for each other, start stories, tell jokes. If they have something to buy, sell, or trade, they do it on there for free. There's no charge to any of them. It's up 24 hours a day, so they can get on there anytime they want. If they have games and programs and stuff, then they trade those on there. If they want to leave a private message to somebody, they can put that on there, or pick up a private message that somebody else has left for them. Just like mail, only you can get it a little bit faster, and it doesn't even cost you a stamp.
Now, you told me earlier that you have, what shall we say, serialized fiction in one section of your bulletin board?
Yeah, in our message section 5, we have 5 different bases for messages. And in the last one, we have where a person has started a story, and then all of a sudden he'll just stop in the middle of his story, and then the next person on will add a part to it. And then anybody else that logs on, if it's just somebody new or anybody, they just add their part onto the story, keep on going until they decide they're tired of that, and then they'll stop, and if they want, in the center of theirs. And somebody will add onto that story there.
Is it just funny, or does it end up making sense most of the time?
Part of the time it makes sense, part of the time it's really comical, and part of the time you just can't understand it at all. But it's a form of just self-expression. You know, people get on there. A lot of people just don't care to talk to a lot of other people. We voice validate all of our people that call onto the system. So when we call them up to make sure it's them that have called, you know, that they're correct people and everything, it's not somebody just using somebody else's name. There's a lot of people that just don't want to talk. They're really quiet. But yet when they get on that board and start typing, they're on there for a couple of hours.
Well, you know, I've heard the same thing said about the folks with the handles on the CB.
Yeah.
That you met them face to face, you wouldn't know them.
No, you don't. We've had picnics before where BBS operators and the users of the systems will all get together. They'll plan a picnic or an outing of some kind. And we had one out in Olathe. Everybody got together. They decided on the board there by leaving messages to each other who was going to bring what, where everybody was going to meet, the time and everything else. And everybody had a good time. We had a cookout, went out to the lake. Everybody met there, and it just, some of the people that they'd had names and stuff, you'd never have recognized them from talking to them on the board.
Now, Patrick, you told me when we first talked on the phone after we startled you on the message board by saying, hey, you want to be a TV star. You told me that your board is dedicated to the 8-bit machine. Now, would you explain first to those in our audience who don't understand the difference between an 8-bit and a 16-bit machine, what's an 8-bit machine?
Well, it pretty much has to do with speed and capacity. Computers are really pretty stupid. They can only count to 256. And that's, if you have 8 on and offs, the highest number you can count to is 256. So it's 8 bits to a number, and that's what the whole computer is based on. Now, if you go to an IBM, and it starts using a 2-number word, where it'll be using 16 bits to make a larger number. Whereas my computer can only count to 256 in one single digit. Their computer, using 2 digits, can count up to, let me throw it, 65,538.
That's about all the numbers I need.
And anyway, it's pretty much just a trade-off of speed. The Commodores will do everything or the 8-bit computers will do everything that a 16-bit computer, an IBM, will do, except it does it slower. And it's about half the price.
And for a lot of things, it doesn't make much difference.
Yeah, it doesn't, you know, if you're on a bulletin board at 1200 baud, all you're going to get is 1200 baud. You aren't going to be able to go any faster. Or I'm hoping someday to go 2400 baud, which is about as high as a 8-bit computer can go.
Okay, time out once more. Explain baud rate for our non-computer users.
Okay, that's bits per second. Over the phone line, it can only, transmit one bit at a time. And at 300 baud, so you're looking at the TV screen, you can read each line as it prints out on the screen. At 1200 baud, it's harder. It comes out a lot faster. You get a page about every 5 seconds or so. At 2400 baud, it flashes a screen on at a time. And that's you're getting more information in less amount of time. A lot of online services will charge you more for higher baud rates. Say, you're getting more information from them in the same amount of time, so they ought to charge you a couple extra dollars, so they feel.
Now, your system is operated entirely, I believe, with Commodore 64 and 128 components. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And this is the computer we all know and love from the toy stores and every place else that it's been marketed.
The game machine.
Yeah. Although I can't seem to think of anybody that's making game cartridges for it anymore.
No.
And is your system also completely a Commodore system, Jack?
Yeah, it's completely a Commodore system. There are systems that run with other types of systems, like an IBM machine can run with Commodore. Any computer can connect with the system, even though I'm running with a 128 system setup. An IBM, Tandy, Macintosh, any computer can call into my system and talk to anybody on there. doesn't matter what kind of computer you have. They're just a lot of fun. You don't have to know nothing about programming. You don't have to know anything about computers, just know how to type. If you know how to spell and how to read, that's all you need.
Which brings me to one other point. You told me earlier that there is a bulletin board in town that is dedicated, if not totally, in large part, to helping people with their literacy problems. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Just a lot of systems. Different systems are on for different reasons. Some systems you can call up, and it's, I believe that's an IBM system, if I remember correctly. And but anybody with any computer can call in there, and they just give any type of help that you need. Just like we're running mostly graphics and conversation on ours right now. That's what all of them are really for, is just any type of illiteracy. If when you go into the message section places, some boards are set up where the only thing they have is programs. They don't even have message bases. And a lot of them are set up to where you can learn things, talk. If you don't understand stuff, you get on and you ask a question. You don't have to fear anybody else because you're not looking at anybody else. You're not looking at the 50 million people out here, you know. You don't have to worry about somebody looking at you. If you type a question in here and it sounds dumb, you don't have to worry about, well, gee, I really look stupid, because it's on here, and you can go back there later and look at it. And it helps a lot of people out because they don't have to face somebody.
Okay. As you said before, there's a lot of people that just don't like to go out and talk to people, especially strangers. Patrick, how many users do you have signed on to your board right now?
Right now there's about 260, of which maybe 100 or 150 call maybe once every other week or once a week. We have maybe 20 or 30 users that call almost daily. I used to be there. I used to be on the user side, and I called 30 bulletin boards a day. It was like having 30 different mailboxes all over the city, and talking to different friends. Each bulletin board, you'd have a different set of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I'd get home from work, I'd check my mail.
Now, what do you know about these? You talked to all of them on the phone at least once. Mm-hmm. to validate, and I know that's startled my wife a couple of times. This is the Sysops for Quadriflex. Can I speak to Eric, please? And what type of age range and interest range do you have on your board?
Well, here lately, it's, I'd say 15 to 25 and 30-year-olds. There's a few older and a few younger, but pretty much the main is in the 25-year-old range. And as far as interests, almost all of them are interested in games, because they've got a 64, and they're looking for the new stuff and want to hear about everything that's out on the market and what's worth buying.
How about you, Jack? What's Grapevine got for a user base?
I think our youngest user right now is 10 years old, and our oldest user is in his mid-60s, I believe it is. And interest, boy, there's a wide variety there, because there's a lot of people that get in there just to use the message bases. They never even go to get a game or anything like that. Some people get in, and that's the only thing they do. They get in there, get a game, and leave. And a lot of people just like to talk, or they'll talk on whatever interesting subjects are going on at the moment. I have a scanner at home, and I wanted a listing of something else. I asked, just put a message to anybody. I said, I'm using a scanner, but I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what the Highway Patrol has on here. I can't hear one of them talking. I said, I can hear dispatch, but nobody else. Anybody else out there know what the code is? And sure enough, a couple of days later, somebody had written in all the frequencies for the Highway Patrol. Mm-hmm. So you can get into a lot of stuff. Just any kind of topic you want, there's somebody on there that knows something about it.
Now, you both play multiple user games on your board, do you not?
No, we did when I was running CNUG, the Commodore North Users Group. bulletin board, we had a interactive adventure type game where it was really just a series of menus. The whole bulletin board, runs off of a menu, and there's ways of stacking menus on top of menus to where it comes out like a story, and you can go north, south, east, or west. So you pick north, goes to another menu, which you can go here or there, and I think mine was 16 menus deep, and had catacombs you couldn't get out of.
Get lost in these places.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Especially when I sign on to an IBM system, I'm not used to their format. It drives me absolutely nuts. Now, one other thing we want to talk about tonight, Jack, was that, like myself, and you're a user of Quantum Link, and I believe Eric told me CompuServe as well.
It's Q-Link is the only one I'm a member right now. I'm a member of several other of the systems, like City Hall, Dickinson Theater, things like that.
Okay, would you explain to our viewers what a national online service is, such as Quantum Link, which we both use? And do you use Quantum Link as well, Patrick?
No, my finances aren't that way. I'm more into buying hardware.
Well, Q-Link's a pretty nice setup there because someone can get on there. If it's middle of the winter, they have a library section in there. It's a set of encyclopedias, and they're updated every 3 months. If you're at home, it's the middle of the winter, it's snowing like crazy outside, and your kid needs something from the computer, needs something from the encyclopedias to do his homework with, you can go on to that. It's just like one of our boards, only instead of just a smaller amount, they have a lot larger amount of stuff, a larger amount of space, more people on there. You get in there, download anything you want. You can read any of that stuff you want there. There's games on there to play. There's a lot of people on there. They have just public areas where several people, a lot of people, can get in at the same time, and you can have like 20 or 30 people on the system at the same time, and all of them can be typing back and forth to each other, or they can walk off into different rooms or type off into different rooms and go into other places.
Lest we confuse anybody, these things cost money. These national databases do, folks. And believe me, you can run up quite a bill if you're not careful.
Well, they do have free services. Some of them are not very much, like about $10 a month. And then if you don't use any of the extra services, you get so much free time every month. But then if you don't go over that, then you're fine.
Well, between my son and I, we usually manage to go over that. I've been downloading a number of programs, and of course my son likes to play the casino gambling.
Yeah.
But they'll be more than happy to get you hooked on.
Yeah, I believe Q-Link has a special going on that this month.
Oops, I think I'm going to have to hit my son before the evening's over, because you just set him off again.
Oh no, they'll go crazy over that one. They do have a lot of good prizes and stuff on there.
Yeah. Well, I want to take exception to their movie review section because
It's nice.
well, I read those fairly regularly, and being a regular movie critic here in Kansas City, I find that about every third review that they print there has one major gaffe in the description of the plot. So, frankly, it sounds like somebody that writes those reviews is smoking the funny stuff, because it just does not come out coherent to the movie. Either that, or they're seeing different movies than I am.
They also have the soap operas in there.
Yeah, I know. I used to download the summaries for my wife at one time.
It's bad enough to watch them on TV.
I said about the same thing. You ever had any serious problems with your bulletin board, with user problems?
Oh, no, not really. There are guys that will call. If they want to bug you, they'll call you up and just leave the line dead. Your modems linked together, and they'll just sit there with no input, and the computer will sit there for, I think it's about 5 minutes before it finally figures out that there's nobody there and hangs up. And other than that, and people using other people's names, there's always somebody trying to find out somebody else's password, and there's no way they can, so usually they quit trying after a while. I usually tell the person involved that somebody's been trying to use their name, and they'll suddenly find out that somebody's gone around and called boards that they aren't a user of and used their name and gotten off.
That's the purpose of the voice validating.
Yeah. Well, I know I got thrown off of what it was, a 64th dimension one night, because the name I use is the name I use here, Erwin K Roberts. And it doesn't like periods in its sign-on.
No.
You ever had
Touchy.
any other, problems with your users?
Yeah, I had one call up, left an extremely nasty message. A lot of vulgar language, stuff like that. Like I said, that's part of the purpose of voice validating someone. I went ahead and waited until they got off, and then I just deleted the message real quick before anybody else gets on. And I went ahead and called the place and asked for the person, and they ended up speaking to the kid's father. Come to find out, they don't even have a computer, and the kid's in California, so...
Very interesting.
So it wasn't him after all, just somebody trying to make him look bad.
Okay. What's been, either one of you, the most surprising type of person that you've met operating a bulletin board? Shall we take a commercial break, folks? I think I put them in traction here.
Get some strange ones on there. No, it's there's a lot of people that get on there that'll just totally wipe you out. They'll get on there, start talking real friendly to you and everything, and then just totally tear up your systems. But there's all kinds of systems out there. There's things on there for anybody. I mean, there's adult systems out there that they will not let kids get on. But as far as people, I mean, it's like when we had that picnic there, and then we went out and met some of these people here, and they are nothing like what you expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know Q-Link has been encouraging romance by a modem. Have you ever heard of any successful computerized romances?
On Q-Link there was one.
It ended up, I believe somebody said, in the getting married long distance.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard that happen in the comic book letters page, but I've never heard it happen on a computer before.
Yeah,
So a lot of people get together that way.
Yeah, there's I think there's a singles BBS on the list. That, just for single people meeting single people, and there are the more promiscuous boards.
This is a family show. I do recall one thing in Q-Link a while back that some of the female members were getting, shall we say, sexually harassed. Mm-hmm. And the suggestion was made to the people who'd been doing the harassing that why don't you create a female screen name, which is what you do with Q-Link. It has to be something reasonably unique. We tried to log on my son as Eric S. on Q-Link, and they said that's fine if you want to be Eric S. 39. But these people put on these female screen names and were rather startled at some of the propositions they received, I guess.
Yeah. That's the reason a lot of females do not call the board systems, because they get harassed a lot. There's a lot of people that, especially the kids, will get on there and that's all they're trying to do is pick up on them. And that's the reason a lot of them they'll get on there, and as soon as a few people start, well, gee, where do you go to school? You know, we have a user on ours that's been on there. She's gotten all kinds of offers, questions, and everything else. You know, gee, where do you go to school at and everything? She's not in school. So she may have a couple of daughters that are, but she's not. But that's the reason a lot of them log off and just don't stay on the systems, is because they get harassed a lot.
Yeah, I've had maybe 10 female callers over the last 10 years, and the only one that's called back was the wife of a friend of mine.
So it seems to be, for the most part, a man's prerogative?
Yeah, it appears, although I know that on some of the other boards, I'm sure they're probably friends, live in the neighborhood and they know them. But that's about the only contact I've had.
They have a way around it. There's a lot of them that use other names, and so we have several female users on our system, and they use a different name that doesn't even sound like a female name, and I've seen it other places also, and that's mainly so they won't get harassed.
Now, you brought a list of some of the bulletin boards around town. Would you drag
Sure.
that out, and let's just sort of flash it at the audience so they can, 10 years ago, I doubt if there were 2 of them in existence.
This is just some of the numbers of the systems around here that anybody can call with any computer, just here in the Kansas City area alone.
And that's, I would judge to be something approaching 100.
I believe it's a little over 100.
Okay.
But there's lots of these places around here, and people just don't know about them. A lot of people only know about the pay systems, and you get everything here that you get in the pay systems, or pretty much.
Yeah, usually the first place anything new comes on Q-Link, somebody downloads it and uploads it to a local BBS,
Yeah.
and then it's all around. Viruses and everything.
Yeah.
You really got to watch out for that. If they're running an IBM or something like that, the viruses are really prolific in IBM boards.
Let's explain to our viewers one more time. A virus is something hidden in a program that can jump up and bite your computer system or your disks and cause considerable damage and consternation. That's one advantage that we Commodore users have, is that our control systems are built in the hardware,
Yeah.
and viruses have a lot tougher time on our systems, for which I think we can all be grateful.
Yeah.
They haven't had any problems with the viruses on the Commodore systems. They just,
There is a Geos virus out now.
yeah, but sounds like fun. But they're mainly on like the Macintosh and IBM and Apple systems. But on Commodore, you don't see that kind of stuff.
Now, we've just got a minute or 2 left tonight. What haven't I asked you that you would have liked to have been asked, or that you expected me to ask?
Nothing I can think of. I think we pretty well covered it. We didn't quite cover the program transfers too much. There's a lot of good software out there that's free for the taking. That most of my time is spent in helping new users learn how to upload and download, and it's just phenomenal. People don't realize that they can get a free game or free program just from calling and knowing how to go through the menus and use their terminal. And a lot of people don't realize that.
How about you, Jack?
Well, it doesn't take anybody special to use these things. They just, anybody, like I said, our youngest user is 10 years old. Anybody can get into the system. One of the biggest questions I've been asked, though, that one thing that sticks to my mind is why we do it. It's because of the, it can't be profitable. It's not profitable to us. We spend a lot of money, put a lot of time into these. So what are we gaining from it? And it's just mainly fun. It's a hobby.
Well, and on that note, I think we better close out of here, because they're giving me all kinds of wigwags saying we're out of time. So tune in next week, and we'll be back with more of Entertainment Spectrum. Good night.